All right. So good evening, everybody. I'm super, super excited and thankful that Jenny can hop on with us. And I know I've interviewed you in the past, I think like once or twice, but we have a lot of new team members and there's also different seasons of the business. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself and just tell everybody a little bit about your story, and then I'll jump into some questions.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me on. My name is Jenny Thomure. I've been with It Works for 9.5 years, which is so crazy to say. But when I got started, like 10 years ago, so long time ago, I was a new mom. I had just had my first baby, and I was in a job that I loved it, but I hated it because I was literally the only one. Like I was in transportation. I was in supply chain, trucking, and I was like the only woman there. Like in fact, the place I was working when I had him, I was actually the only woman of like childbearing age. They didn't have a maternity policy. Like it was not good. And so I was like, gosh, I just want something for me, something else that I can do. And so I had seen a friend posting about, wraps and greens, and I was really into had a baby. I was really into losing weight and like getting back into my like pre-pregnancy clothes. And so I was like, you know what, I want to try this, but I was so scared. And I watched for 6 months until I finally was like, okay, let me see these wraps. Let me try these greens. Um, and I ended up deciding, like, I think I knew in my head already I wanted to do this as a distributor, but I didn't like let on to that. But I knew I wanted to do it. So I jumped in. And honestly, when I first got started, you know, I I had gone to school, I had gotten my MBA. I was like, I want to be in the corporate world. I wanted the corner office, and I wanted to be a manager, and I wanted to like climb the ladder as high as I could climb the ladder. So the thought of doing this full time was never like ever anything I like wanted. Like I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. It just wasn't my thing. Like I wanted to work. And so I just thought, you know what, if I can make a little extra, honestly, $300 is what I really wanted. And I thought that could save that up and we could go on a vacation, or it could help with daycare costs, because I did not realize how expensive daycare is. No one tells you about that. And so that's like why I got started. I jumped in, and I got some customers right away. I really struggled in the beginning with signing distributors. And I think it was because I lacked confidence, and I lacked confidence in myself. Not that I didn't think that someone could do well in this business, but I just didn't think I could do well in this business. And so in my own head, I was like, how could I tell someone to go do this with me when I don't really know if I could do this very well, right? So I struggled with that in the beginning. It took me about 8 months to go Ruby. And but then when I went Ruby, and I kind of caught the vision of, okay, like now I just need to teach other people to go Ruby. And so about 4 months after I went Ruby, I double promoted to Diamond. And we always hear about the bonuses and all the big things. And for a year, literally my first year, every month I was like, I'm going to go Diamond and I'm going to hit this $10,000 bonus. And I never hit it. And I never hit it. And I never hit it. And you guys, when I went Diamond, they had actually, like way back in the day, they had actually doubled the bonuses. And so I hit a $20,000 bonus. And so I say that just because I feel like a lot of times we're so focused on things, and like the timing is always going to be the right timing. And had I hit it before, not that I would have been upset, but like I hit it when it was a $20,000 bonus, gosh, that was back in 2015. And then about a year later, I went double diamond. And then when I was double diamond, I started matching my corporate salary. And prior to joining this business, I had been also laid off a couple times. And so in the back of my head, I was kind of like, I need like a plan B. Like, what happens if I get laid off again? Like, now we have a baby. Like, now we have like other people to provide for. So I go double diamond. The next month, my husband gets laid off from his job. So he finally gets a job back. He gets a new job. And then 6 months after that, I get laid off for the fourth time in 8 years. And I'm just like, okay, is this God just like knocking, like, hello, you are not in the right path. Like, this is the path for you. And so I decided, I was like, you know what? I had 2 kids at the time. I'm like, I'm not going back to work. And so that was January 1st, 2017. I came home and I've been home ever since. We've added a third baby since then. I went triple diamond a few months, not a few months, a few years. So I went triple diamond when I was 36 weeks pregnant with my third child, which I don't recommend. That was pretty stressful. And then about 6 months after that, I went presidential diamond, and that is where I am today. And so that's kind of my story in a nutshell. It's a lot to create. Like 9.5 years is a lot of time.
I feel you. Britton and I are we just hit 9 years like in the last 2 weeks, and it's like, I don't even know what parts to tell anyone, like so much life has happened. So
Yeah, it
it's
is.
crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So one thing that you mentioned, that I really want to touch on is, you said at the beginning you were lacking confidence. So if there's anybody that's listening to the Zoom tonight and you're like, I'm lacking confidence currently, or maybe you've struggled with that, drop a 1 in the chat. So will you talk a little bit about how you overcame that? Because I think that is always the thing, like, oh, I don't have success, so I can't present the opportunity, or, I'm not sure who's going to say yes. And so you don't do it. How did you overcome that confidence issue to be more confident, to enroll distributors? Because I think that's always like the number one thing. If people are held back from signing distributors, it's typically confidence or belief in themselves. So will you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So because I was very much in my head, and very much what I was doing is I was thinking about me, and I was thinking about my lack of confidence, my lack of success, my, like, what are they going to think of me? And I had to take it out of my head. Like, I literally felt like I was envisioning me like coming out of my body and like out of my head and being like, no, this is about them. This is an opportunity. Like, so what? Maybe I haven't made $1 million, so what if I haven't made a million? But what if I tell this person and this is their ticket to make $1 million? And so I had to take the focus off of me and put the light on them. Like, I was literally like envisioning in my head, like the light goes and it shines on them. And what do they want? What could this do for them? And you could be one day into this business and you clearly, like, you've not done anything because you've only been in a day, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't have $1 million opportunity that you can offer to someone else and it can change their life. Because if you look around, you look at Brittany, you look at Aaron, you look at other people on this Zoom, I think I saw Tracy on here. There are people that have been hugely, wildly successful in this business. And so even if you don't have that story yet, look at their story and share their story and know that you might be offering this business to somebody and this can do the same for them. And honestly, at the end of the day, you sign up in Aaron Tweed, it's going to change your life too, right? Like, so, but you got to like really take it off of you. Like, it's not a me thing, it's a them thing, and really put the focus on what can I offer to them? Because once you start thinking of this as more like a service business and you're providing a service and a vehicle that people can use to do whatever they want in life, then it becomes less of a, like, I would get nervous and think like, what are they thinking of me? And what if they say no? Who cares if they say no? You are offering them something that could change their life, and it's up to them. Like, you can ask a million people, but you cannot force someone to say yes. And so all you can do is give the ask. And if they say yes, then if they say no, that's on them, right? Like, if they say no, that's their choice, that's on them. But if they say yes and this changes their life, you could literally change someone's entire trajectory, their generational wealth for their children and grandchildren and so on.
I love it. Yeah, that's what I always say. It's not our job or our responsibility to make people say yes. It's our job and our responsibility to make sure that we offer the opportunity, and then the decision's up to them. So since we're on the, topic of distributors, like, what are the things that you're doing to sign distributors? I know, I'm very excited because we have those promo codes where the starter kit is half price and different things. But will you talk about just ways that you're enrolling distributors? Is it through host posts? Is it through reels? What tips do you have as far as signing distributors?
So for me, it's been a lot of growing my network through host to post. So um, I don't do a lot of like I do some distributor host to post, like posting, having people post for me about the business. But I don't find that it like converts people right away. But what I do find is it gets a lot of people on my page. And so I'm using host to post. Like I try to think of host to post as not like a transactional type of the business. It's more of a lead generating part of our business. And so we're doing host to post just to get people on our page. Like honestly, no one, I might have 50 comments on one. That's amazing. And no one orders a product, but I am super excited because that could be potentially be 50 new people that are going to start watching me and following me and seeing my stories and seeing what I'm posting about. And so I am like anybody who likes it, because a lot of times people, we put up these posts about the business and they don't comment. There are people that comment, but there are definitely people who are liking it, who want you to know that maybe they're interested, but they're just too nervous to comment. And so I'm messaging those people. Anytime someone puts up a host to post for me, I will just reach out and be like, hey, like, you're literally doing what I do. Like, that's literally what I'm doing. Have you thought about making extra income? And so that works really well. And then just, growing, like watching the people who like watch my story, or people who are voting or doing the swipe over thing on my story. Like, so I've done that. I have tried a little bit of creating the broadcast channels on Instagram. Haven't quite gotten that to work yet. I've gotten some messages from people and it's created conversations, but haven't really signed any from that yet. But that doesn't mean it won't happen. It's still very new. My reels. So what I've done with like when I've had success with like reels or TikToks. So honestly, my TikToks seem to have done better in the past than my reels. And I still don't have Facebook reels, which is so crazy. But I know, right? But when I will do reels about our like host to post giveaways and have people comment, and then I will redirect them to my Facebook and have them add me, give them the host to post from that. And then these are like people from entirely new markets, especially TikTok. Like, I mean, that's not even like a friend of a friend of a friend. Like these are like totally people that are not even connected in any way, but now they're my Facebook friend. Now they're putting a host to post up for me. Now I'm telling them like, hey, you should try doing this. You're doing exactly what I do. Have you ever thought about making extra income? And so I've had definitely some success with that. And then of course, follow up. That's been the biggest thing is definitely with, this month with these promo codes is just following up with people because I'm sure all of us have had people that are like, I just don't have the money right now. Or, when it was $149 a year ago, it was definitely too much. Now it's, $100 less and it might be in their budget. So those are some of the things that I've been doing.
I love it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about and I had this really crazy thought while you were talking because I was like, oh, we're both with our Stanleys. Remember how we used to do like high five 305? Now we need like Stanley cheers or something.
There we go.
Literally all Zoom, we're just gonna be doing this to each other. And I was like, oh, the random
It
things
helps to
that
drink
pop
more
up.
water though.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so being a busy mom, and I know your kids are in sports, just like we were talking about that earlier, baseball season and different things. And kids are about to go back into school. What is your daily like task list for yourself? Or what are the things that you are like, I absolutely have to make sure that I get these things done every single day? Because we know not every single day is gonna be perfect. Kids may have more activities than others. They may not be back in school yet. So will you talk a little bit about those things that are your non-negotiables?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, the number one thing that I'm grateful that I forced myself to do is to get into a good morning routine. And so you guys are all invited. Every morning, myself and a few others do a 5:30 a.m. Central Time power hour. So we do a power hour from 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. And I know for some of you it might sound like crazy. And for me, I definitely was like, it's really early, but I can get so much focused work done in a quiet house first thing in the morning. I feel like my brain just focuses better in the morning. I can think more clearly. So we do that and we listen to personal development while we're doing it. So we'll listen to podcasts, different podcasts. And so I feel like I'm like filling my brain with good things while I'm also doing work. We do journaling for 10 minutes. So I journal like very first thing that we do. And then I knock out, I get a lot of interacting done. So like I said, I'm trying to like really grow and focus on my network. And so I want to get my interacting so that I'm interacting with their posts, they're seeing more of my stuff. And then the biggest thing we'll do like 30 minutes of just strictly asking for host to post. Or so I try to do that. So that way my goal every day is to get up at least 5 host to posts. I try to get more, but I know don't always hit that. Some days are better than others. So I always try to get up, 5 host to posts. Always try to interact in like with my network. And then I want to do my follow-up. So like for this week, my follow-up is all going to be focused on the promo codes for distributors, but also the free skinny coffee. So I've been sending follow-up messages for that. So I am not always the most organized person. But what I find works really well is if you go into your messenger, you can search, right? Like our messages are searchable. And so I'll look for keywords. So for me, I like to promote the slimming system, the slimming trio, and the gummies a lot. So for weight loss, those are the ones that I'm really talking the most about. So I'll go back to my messages and I will look for key phrases. So like, for example, even like slimming system, like that is in my message. I will search for that. Or green tea select phytosome, that, from the Thermophyte X, that's in the message. So I search for that. Slimming gummies, or, so I'll have like key phrases or key words that I will search in my messages. So that way I'm not forgetting people. So that's like one way I'll do follow up. Another thing is I don't know if you guys knew this, but probably did. It was a new thing for me, but you can search your Facebook page. So like you can go on your profile and you can click the little magnifying glass and search. And so I will type in like slimming system or lose 15 to 30 pounds or whatever, like whatever key phrase I have in my posts. And so I can go back and search my posts. And then I can see, 6 months ago, this person liked my post. I messaged them, but I never followed up. And that's a person I can, go and follow up with. So those are just some ways that I search my Facebook to follow up with people, but then also just scrolling back. Like if you literally just scroll back a week, for me, at least, I find that sometimes like conversations start in different ways. Like we don't always send the same boards message or whatever. So sometimes you're talking about something else and then the conversation switches to like, oh, hey, will you tell me more about those slimming gummies you post about, and so that's another way that you can go through and make sure you're not like missing people, is if you kind of like clean out your inbox or just go back and scroll back through your inbox. So that's kind of, my everyday thing that I don't want to miss, because honestly, like our goals are right, like enrolling distributors and enrolling customers. So I really try to focus on that. And then on days when I have more time, I might, plan some posts ahead or try to plan like a reel or, something like that. But like my core focus is really trying to build my network with host to post and then follow up with people.
I love it. And such a good reminder too about the Facebook post, because I feel like that's one that I typically will forget.
I realized it for a long time.
I know. And it's like, I'll search it for other things if I'm like looking for something specific, but that's really great, especially with this promo. Okay. So I know this past year you had a lot of like crazy things happen in your business and your upline left and different things. So I know that we have probably people that are going to be either on this or they're watching the recording a little bit later, because we have kind of like a big like hodgepodge grandfathered in. Everybody comes and listens to these Zooms. And so I just want to have you kind of talk to that person. Maybe they're just like feeling like, oh, I don't have my sponsor anymore, different things, and how you just not let that stop you, and how actually I feel like it's propelled you even more. So will you just talk about that a little bit, or just maybe some things that you did to just get over that mindset and not letting that hold you back?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's been a crazy year. And I think that, so number one, like, if you're in this situation or, or maybe in the future, you may be in this situation, first of all, your sponsor, it's awesome to have a sponsor, and it's awesome to have someone that you feel like you can go to, you can ask questions. But I guarantee you that any question you have about this business is in a team page, or it's on a YouTube video out there, or it's in a training on the app. Like, you will be able to find ways. And to be completely honest, I didn't ask a whole lot of questions to my sponsor. I went out and I'm a green personality. And so I wanted to know info. Like, I just wanted to know things. And so I am very much a person that does my own researching. And so an ingredient, like, go check out your website. Make sure you learn your website, and you can easily find out ingredients and ask, find out different questions on that. But go to YouTube and just search trainings. Like, our app has great trainings in it now too. So make sure you're watching that. But you can, anything that you want to know, I guarantee you can find it. Or we have this awesome Road to VIP page now. Like, we didn't have anything like that when I first started, but like, that's a great resource as well. But my next thing that I will say that 100% has helped me is to find a good accountability partner or a good sideline partner. Somebody who I feel like a good sideline or accountability would be somebody who maybe you guys are kind of in the business the same amount of time, around the same rank, don't have to even be the same rank, but somebody that you have the same goals. So like I've been accountability partners with Kara Heinz. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Her and I have been partners since 2017. And like, what's crazy is, like, we were both at Double Diamond. We both hit triple within 2 months of each other. We both hit presidential the same month. Like, we were going towards the same goals. And so I feel like a lot of times that was what kept my momentum going, more so than my sponsor, like having that person that you're running with, and you can bounce ideas off each other, and you can, we run our teams together. We put chats together. We do contests together. And so things like that, like, you don't have to have a sponsor to do that. You can find a friend in this business. And honestly, that's probably the person you're going to go to more often than not anyway, because there are things that you might just have a question that you don't even want to talk to your sponsor about. You might want to talk to your sideline and get their perspective. So I would say that. And then also, like, I do feel like sometimes we get a little bit too dependent on our upline or our sponsor, and we don't feel like we could run our own Zoom because we're just so used to being on their Zoom, or we don't want to do a training because, well, we know like our upline will do the training. But you guys, when that's gone, you just have to do it. You just run in and you just do it yourself. And so that's something that you don't even have to, like, you can just do. Like, you don't even have to be like, oh, my sponsor or my upline's not here. Like, I now, you can just jump in and start doing that. I promise, if you do that, you're going to grow way more as a leader and way more as, just as a person, by just putting yourself in those situations. So I was, it was a tough situation and a weird situation, but honestly, it's probably been one of the best things that has happened for my business.
I love it. And I heard you say over and over, it's just taking action. It's just simply putting the action, putting one foot in front of the other. So whether, you're in that situation or you're kind of just at the standpoint of, it's just getting started, it's just getting started with the action. So Jenny, one last question that I always ask every single person. But if you could go back and tell yourself one thing, or one thing that you would change, or one piece of advice, what would that be? If there's something that you had on your heart that you wanted to share from when you first got started, sorry.
Oh no, it's, gosh, just, I wish that I had just gotten over myself sooner. I wish that I didn't, like, when I first started, I was super shy. I was so afraid to talk to people. I was so scared to post on my Facebook. I was so just nervous about everything. And I wish that I could have just, if I could go back, I wish I could just be like, who cares what people think? You know what? You're going to have people that are going to unfriend you. You're going to have people that are going to laugh, but you're going to have people that are going to support you. And I wish that I would have figured that out sooner and not allow that to hold me back for as long as I feel like it did. But I will say, through this business, I have grown a ton of confidence. I have really, like, this business has forced me into situations that were not comfortable situations, things that I never in a million years would have ever done. But because I jumped into this business and I had to do things, like it forced me to get out of my comfort zone. So, but I would just say, like, gosh, just don't let other people's thoughts or what you think are their thoughts hold you back. Because one of the best sayings I've ever heard is other people's business or other people's opinions are none of your business. And not saying it like in a rude way, like literally, their opinions are not your business. Like, who cares? You do not need to know, think about, or care about what they think. All you need to care about is what you know in your heart, what is right for you, and what can help change your life and your family's life.
Yes, I love it so much. Well, thank you, Jenny, for hopping on with us. That was so, so, so good.
Thank you.
Y'all, we will see you guys next Monday. Go shout her out on social, but it was so powerful. And I just appreciate you taking out time of your night, and we will talk with you later.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
y'all.